3. Plant Kingdom. In the previous chapter, we looked at the broad classification of living organisms under the system proposed by Whittaker in 1969, wherein he suggested the 5 kingdom classification, that is Monera, Protista, Fungi, Animalia and Plantae. In this chapter, we will deal in detail with further classification within kingdom Plantae, popularly known as the plant kingdom. We must stress here that our understanding of the plant kingdom has changed over time. Fungi and members of the Monera and Protista having cell walls have now been excluded from Plantae, though earlier classifications placed them in the same kingdom. So the cyanobacteria that are also referred to as blue-green algae are not algae anymore. In this chapter, we will describe Plantae under algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Let us also look at classification within angiosperms to understand some of the concerns that influence the classification systems. The earliest systems of classification used only gross superficial morphological characters such as habit, color, number and shape of leaves, etc. They were based mainly on vegetative characters or on the androecium structure in bracket system given by Linnaeus. Such systems were artificial. They separated the closely related species since they were based on a few characteristics. Also, the artificial systems gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. This is not acceptable since we know that often the vegetative characters are more easily affected by environment. As against this, natural classification systems developed which were based on natural affinities among the organisms and consider not only the external features but also internal features like ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology and phytochemistry. Such a classification for flowering plants was given by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. At present, phylogenetic classification systems based on evolutionary relationships between the various organisms are acceptable. This assumes that organisms belonging to the same taxa have a common ancestor. We now use information from many other sources to help resolve difficulties in classification. This becomes more important when there is no supporting fossil evidence. Numerical taxonomy, which is now easily carried out using computers, is based on all observable characteristics. Number and codes are assigned to all the characters and the data are then processed. In this way, each character is given equal importance and at the same time, hundreds of characters can be considered. Cytotaxonomy, that is based on cytological information like chromosome number, structure, behavior and chemotaxonomy that uses the chemical constituents of the plant to resolve confusions, are also used by taxonomists these days. 3.1 Algae. Algae are chlorophyll-bearing, simple, thalloid, autotrophic and largely aquatic in bracket both freshwater and marine organisms. They occur in a variety of other habitats, moist stones, soils and wood. Some of them also occur in association with fungi in bracket lichen and animals in bracket, example on sloth bear. The form and size of algae is highly variable in bracket figure 3.1. The size ranges from the microscopic unicellular forms like Chlamydomonas to colonial forms like volvox and the filamentous forms like Ulothrix and Spirogyra. A few of the marine forms such as kelps form massive plant bodies. The algae reproduce by vegetative, asexual and sexual methods. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Each fragment develops into a thallus. Asexual reproduction is by the production of different types of spores, the most common being the zoospores. They are flagellated in bracket motile and on germination gives rise to new plants. Sexual reproduction takes place through fusion of two gametes. These gametes can be flagellated and similar in size in bracket as in Chlamydomonas, or non-flagellated in bracket non-motile but similar in size in bracket as in Spirogyra. Such reproduction is called isogamous. Fusion of two gametes dissimilar in size as in some species of Chlamydomonas is termed as anisogamies and isogamies. Fusion between one large non-motile in bracket static female gamete and a smaller motile male gamete is termed oogames. Example, Volvox fucus. Algae are useful to man in a variety of ways. At least half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. Being photosynthetic, they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in their immediate environment. They are of paramount importance as primary producers of energy-rich compounds which form the basis of the food cycles of all aquatic animals. Many species of Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum are among the 70 species of marine algae used as food. Certain marine brown and red algae produce large amounts of hydrocolloids, in bracket water holding substances. Example, algine, in bracket brown algae, and carrageen, in bracket red algae, which are used commercially. Agar, one of the commercial products obtained from Gelidium and Gracilaria, are used to grow microbes and in preparation of ice creams and jellies. Chlorella and Spirulina are unicellular algae rich in proteins and are used as food supplements even by space travelers. The algae are divided into three main classes: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. 3.1.1 Chlorophyceae. The members of Chlorophyceae are commonly called green algae. The plant body may be unicellular, colonial or filamentous. They are usually grass green due to the dominance of pigments chlorophyll A and B. The pigments are localized in definite chloroplast. The chloroplast may be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral or ribbon-shaped in different species. Most of the members have one or more storage bodies called pyrenoids located in the chloroplast. Pyrenoids contain protein besides starch. Some algae may store food in the form of oil droplets. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made of an inner layer of cellulose and an outer layer of pectose. Vegetative reproduction usually takes place by fragmentation or by formation of different types of spores. Asexual reproduction is by flagellated zoospores produced in zoosporangia. The sexual reproduction shows considerable variation in the type and formation of sex cells, and it may be isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous. Some commonly found green algae are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Ulothrix, Spirogyra and Chara, in bracket figure 3.1a. 3.1.2 Phaeophyceae. The members of Phaeophyceae or brown algae are found primarily in marine habitats. They show great variation in size and form. They range from simple branched filamentous forms, in bracket ectocarpus, to profusely branched forms as represented by kelps, which may reach a height of 100 meters. They possess chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids and xanthophyllates. They vary in color from olive green to various shades of brown depending upon the amount of the xanthophyll pigment fucoxanthin present in them. Food is stored as complex carbohydrates which may be in the form of laminarine or mannitol. The vegetative cells have a cellulosic wall usually covered on the outside by a gelatinous coating of algine. The protoplast contains, in addition to plastid, a centrally located vacuole and nucleus. The plant body is usually attached to the substratum by a holdfast and has a stalk, the stipe, and leaf-like photosynthetic organ, the frond. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction in most brown algae is by biflagellate zoospores. that are pear-shaped and have two unequal laterally attached flagella. Sexual reproduction may be isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous. Union of gametes may take place in water or within the oogonium (oogamous species). The gametes are pyriform (pear-shaped) and bear two laterally attached flagella. The common forms are ectocarpus, dictyota, laminaria, sargassum and fucus (figure 3.1b). 3.1.3 Rhodophyceae. The members of Rhodophyceae are commonly called red algae because of the predominance of the red pigment R phycoerythrin in their body. Majority of the red algae are marine with greater concentrations found in the warmer areas. They occur in both well-lighted regions close to the surface of water and also at great depth in oceans where relatively little light penetrates. The red thalli of most of the red algae are multicellular. Some of them have complex body organization. The food is stored as fluoridine starch, which is very similar to amylopectin and glycogen in structure. The red algae usually reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation. They reproduce asexually by non-motile spores and sexually by non-motile gametes. Sexual reproduction is oogamous and accompanied by complex post-fertilization developments. The common members are Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria and Geladium. 3.2 Bryophytes. Bryophytes include the various mosses and liverworts that are found commonly growing in moist shaded areas in the hills (figure 3.2). Bryophytes are also called amphibians of the plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil but are dependent on water for sexual reproduction. They usually occur in damp, humid and shaded localities. They play an important role in the plant succession on bare rocks or soil. The plant body of bryophyte is more differentiated than that of algae. It is thallus-like and prostrate or erect and attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They lack true roots, stem or leaves. They may possess root-like, leaf-like or stem-like structures. The main plant body of the bryophyte is haploid. It produces gametes, hence is called a gametophyte. The sex organs in bryophytes are multicellular. The male sex organ is called antheridium. They produce biflagellate antherozoids. The female sex organ called archegonium is flask-shaped and produces a single egg. The antherozoids are released into water where they come in contact with archegonium. An antherozoid fuses with the egg to produce the zygote. Zygotes do not undergo reduction division immediately. They produce a multicellular body called a sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free-living but attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and derives nourishment from it. Some cells of the sporophyte undergo reduction division (meiosis) to produce haploid spores. These spores germinate to produce gametophyte. Bryophytes in general are of little economic importance, but some mosses provide food for herbaceous mammals, birds and other animals. Species of Sphagnum or moss provide feed that have long been used as fuel and as packing material for transshipment of living material because of their capacity to hold water. Mosses along with lichens are the first organisms to colonize rocks and hence are of great ecological importance. They decompose rocks, making the substrate suitable for the growth of higher plants. Since mosses form dense mats on the soil, they reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. The bryophytes are divided into liverworts and mosses. 3.2.1 Liverworts. The liverworts grow usually in moist, shady habitats such as banks of streams, marshy ground, damp soil, bark of trees and deep in the woods. The plant body of a liverwort is thalloid. Example, Marchantia. The thallus is dorsiventral and closely appraised to the substrate. The leafy members have tiny leaf-like appendages in two rows on the stem-like structures. Asexual reproduction in liverworts takes place by fragmentation of thalli or by the formation of specialized structure called gammae, in bracket singular gamma. Gammae are green multicellular asexual buds which develop in small receptacles called gamma cups located in the thalli. The gammae become detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individuals. During sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or on different thalli. The sporophyte is differentiated into a foot, seta and capsule. After meiosis, spores are produced within the capsule. These spores germinate to form free-living gametophytes. 3.2.2 Meiosis. The predominant stage of the life cycle of moss is the gametophyte, which consists of two stages. The first stage is the protonema stage, which develops directly from a spore. It is a creeping, green-branched and frequently filamentous stage. The second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud. They consist of upright, slender axis bearing spirally arranged leaves. They are attached to the soil through multicellular and branched rhizoids. This stage bears the sex organs. Vegetative reproduction in mosses is by fragmentation and budding in the secondary protonema. In sexual reproduction, the sex organs Antheridia and Archegonia are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. After fertilization, the zygote develops into a sporophyte consisting of a foot, seta and capsule. The sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate than that in liverworts. The capsule contains spores. Spores are formed after meiosis. The mosses have an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal. Common examples of mosses are Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. In bracket figure 3.2. 3.3 Pteridophytes. The pteridophytes include horsetails and ferns. Pteridophytes are used for medicinal purposes and as soil binders. They are also frequently grown as ornamentals. Evolutionarily, they are the first terrestrial plants to possess vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. You shall study more about these tissues in chapter 6. The pteridophytes are found in cool, damp, shady places, though some may flourish well in sandy soil conditions. You may recall that in bryophytes, the dominant phase in the life cycle is the gametophytic plant body. However, in pteridophytes, the main plant body is a sporophyte which is differentiated into true root, stem and leaves. In bracket figure 3.3. These organs possess well differentiated vascular tissues. The leaves in pteridophyta are small, in bracket microphyles, as in Selaginella, or large, in bracket macrophylous, as in ferns. The sporophytes bear sporangia that are subtended by leaf-like appendages called sporophylus. In some cases, sporophylus may form distinct compact structures called strobili or cones, in bracket Selaginella equisetum. The sporangia produce spores by meiosis in spore mother cells. The spores germinate to give rise to inconspicuous, small but multicellular, free-living, mostly photosynthetic thalloid gametophytes called prothallus. These gametophytes require cool, damp, shady places to grow. Because of this specific restricted requirement and the need for water for fertilization, the spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to narrow geographical regions. The gametophytes bear male and female sex organs called Antheridia and Archegonia respectively. Water is required for transfer of antherozoids, the male gametes released from the Antheridia, to the mouth of Archegonium. Fusion of male gamete with the egg present in the archegonium result in the formation of zygote. Zygote thereafter produces a multicellular well-differentiated sporophyte, which is the dominant phase of the pteridophytes. In majority of the pteridophytes, all the spores are of similar kinds. Such plants are called homosporous. Genera like Salaginella and Salvinia, which produce two kinds of spores, macro (large) and micro (small) spores, are known as heterosporous. The megaspores and microspores germinate and give rise to female and male gametophytes respectively. The female gametophytes in this plant are retained on the parent sporophytes for variable periods. The development of the zygotes into young embryos takes place within the female gametophytes. This event is precursor to the seed habit, considered an important step in evolution. The pteridophytes are further classified into four classes: Psilopsida Psilotum, Lycosida Salaginella, Lycopodium, Sphenopsida Equisetum, and Pterosida Dryoteris, Pteris, Adiantum. I am repeating the above bracket once again. Dryoteris, Pteris, Adiantum. 3.4 Gymnosperms. The gymnosperms gymnos means naked, sperma means seeds, are plants in which the ovules are not enclosed by an ovary wall and remain exposed both before and after fertilization. The seeds that develop post-fertilization are not covered, that is, they are naked. Gymnosperms include medium-sized trees or tall trees and shrubs. In bracket figure 3.4. One of the gymnosperms are giant redwood tree. Sequoia is one of the tallest tree species. The roots are generally taproots. Roots in some genera have fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza in bracket Pinus, while in some other in bracket Cycas, small specialized roots called coralloid roots are associated with N2 fixing cyanobacteria. The stems are unbranched in bracket Cycas or branched in bracket Pinus, Cedrus. The leaves may be simple or compound. In Cycas, the pinnate leaves persist for a few years. The leaves in gymnosperms are well adapted to withstand extremes of temperature, humidity and wind. In conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. Their thick cuticle and sunken stomata also help to reduce water loss. The gymnosperms are heterosporous. They produce haploid microspores and megaspores. The two kinds of spores are produced within sporangia that are borne on sporophylls, which are arranged spirally along an axis to form legs or compact strobili or cones. The strobili bearing microsporophylls and microsporangia are called microsporangiate or male strobili. The microspores develop into a male gametophytic generation which is highly reduced and is confined to only a limited number of cells. This reduced gametophyte is called a pollen grain. The development of pollen grains take place within the microsporangia. The cones bearing megasporophylls with ovules or megasporangia are called macrosporangiate or female strobili. The male or female cones or strobili may be borne on the same tree in bracket Pinus. However, in Cycas, male cones and megasporophylls are borne on different trees. The megaspore mother cell is differentiated from one of the cells of the nucellus. The nucellus is protected by envelopes and the composite structure is called an ovule. The ovules are borne on megasporophylls which may be clustered to form the female cones. The megaspore mother cell divides meiotically to form 4 megaspores. One of the megaspores enclosed within the megasporangium in bracket nucellus develops into a multicellular female gametophyte that bears 2 or more archegonia or female sex organs. The multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within megasporangium. Unlike bryophytes and pteridophytes, In gymnosperms, the male and the female gametophytes do not have an independent free-living existence. They remain within the sporangia retained on the sporophytes. The pollen grain is released from the microsporangium. They are carried in air currents and come in contact with the opening of the ovules borne on megasporophylls. The pollen tube carrying the male gametes grows toward archegonia in the ovules and discharge their content near the mouth of the archegonia. Following fertilization, zygotes develop into an embryo and the ovules into seeds. The seeds are not covered. 3.5 Angiosperms. Unlike the gymnosperm where the ovules are naked, in the angiosperms or flowering plants, the pollen grains and ovules are developed in specialized structures called flowers. In angiosperms, the seeds are enclosed by fruits. The angiosperms are an exceptionally large group of plants occurring in wide range of habitats. They range in size from tiny, almost microscopic Wolffia to tall trees of eucalyptus in bracket over 100 meters. They provide us with food, fodder, fuel, medicines and several other commercially important products. They are divided into two classes, the dicotyledonous and the monocotyledonous in bracket figure 3.5. The dicotyledonous are characterized by having two cotyledons in their seeds while the monocotyledons have only one. The male sex organ in a flower is the stamen. Each stamen consists of a slender filament with an anther at the tip. The anthers following meiosis produce pollen grains. The female sex organ in a flower is the pistil or the carpel. Pistil consists of an ovary enclosing one to many ovules. Within ovules are present highly reduced female gametophytes termed embryo sacs. The embryo sac formation is preceded by meiosis. Hence, each of the cells of an embryo sac is haploid. Each embryo sac has a 3-celled egg apparatus, 1 egg cell and 2 synergids, 3 antipodal cells and 2 polar nuclei. The polar nuclei eventually fuse to produce a diploid secondary nucleus. Pollen grain after dispersal from the anthers are carried by wind or various other agencies to the stigma of a pistil. This is termed as a pollination. The pollen grains germinate on the stigma and the resulting pollen tubes grow through the tissues of stigma and style and reach the ovule. The pollen tubes enter the embryo sac where two male gametes are discharged. One of the male gametes fuses with the egg cell to form a zygote in bracket syngamy. The other male gamete fuses with the diploid secondary nucleus to produce the preploid primary endosperm nucleus in bracket pen, PEN. Because of the involvement of two fusions, this event is termed as double fertilization, an event unique to angiosperms. The zygote develops into an embryo in bracket with 1 or 2 cotyledons, and the pen develops into endosperm which provides nourishment to the developing embryo. The synergids and antipodals degenerate after fertilization. During this event, the ovules develop into seeds and the ovaries develop into.
तो गाइज़ ये था आपका चैप्टर प्लांट किंगडम। इस चैप्टर को बस सुने और ये आपको पूरा मेमोराइज हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर क्वेश्चंस एनसीईआरटी के लाइन से आते हैं। ये आपके एनसीईआरटी को याद करने में बहुत हेल्प करेगा और नीट के सारे सिलेबस को कवर अप करा देगा। तो ऐसे और वीडियोस के लिए मेरे चैनल को लाइक कर दें, सब्सक्राइब कर दें और शेयर कर दें। फॉर मोर वीडियोस स्टे ट्यून्ड। थैंक यू।